Welcome back to A Misogyny. I'm your host, Ananda Lewis. You're listening to episode 82. What's going on? That's right. What's going on in America? But don't get it twisted. I've said before, A Misogyny is not a political podcast, and I'm going to keep it that way. I've also said that I don't want to talk about this administration on my podcast, and I'm going to try to keep that promise. Here's the deal. A Misogyny features advocacy for people with disabilities and women. This is a mental health podcast. And even though I have shared some political stories before, at the time, things in our country were bad, but they weren't burning around us. And if I brought political trauma to you every time I turned on the mic, am I doing my due diligence? No. Politics ran me off of social media today. I literally just could not do it. No scrolling, no posting videos. I couldn't even talk about my books today, guys. I'll do it here, but I couldn't do it on social media. The actions of this administration have taken a toll on my mental health, and I'm sure it's taken a toll on your mental health as well. Do I think people around the world need to know what's going on? Of course, absolutely. And social media sometimes isn't always the best avenue because there's a lot of misinformation. But as much as I love you guys, I can't update you on everything he's been doing because I need to be gentle with my mental health too. After I'm done recording and editing, I have to play back these episodes, and I don't want to hear anything about him. That's just how I feel. But other things are going on in our country, and I'm happy to share them with you. But first, I want to take a moment to welcome 2 new countries that have joined us, Peru and Lebanon. Welcome, friends, and thank you for tuning in. Now let's see who's tuning in this week from around the world. We have Colombia, Peru, Ireland, Japan, Australia, Canada, South Korea, Ukraine, and Uganda. I'm sending you a big warm welcome and thank you so much for tuning in. I know my episodes have been very sporadic, and like I said, it's because I don't want to talk about the current administration. And it's also been difficult to find good stories, especially inspiring stories about women. I didn't have these problems for the whole 2 years that I was podcasting before January 20th. But I digress. Let's get into today's episode and talk about some things that are going on in this country. And you know me, I'm going to keep it interesting because that's what I do, people. That's what I do. And if you hear bits and pieces about the turmoil that's going on in my country, the USA, that can't be helped. Now let's get ready for our first stop, Los Angeles, California, USA. If you haven't heard of Nezza, you will today. She's a Dominican-American singer, and her real name is Vanessa Hernandez. Well, she sang the national anthem at Dodger Stadium on Saturday with over 51,000 fans in attendance. But here's one little thing. She sang it in Spanish. She later posted a video on TikTok that I watched and revealed that she was told not to sing the Star-Spangled Banner in Spanish. According to Nezza, a Dodgers staff member told her, "We're going to do the song in English today." She said she didn't answer the woman. She just went out there and did her business. She said, "I just felt like I needed to do it for my people. My parents are immigrants. They've been citizens my whole life at this point, but I just can't imagine them being ripped away from me. Not now. Not when I was a kid. Never." And it was very emotional for Nezza. She broke into tears. So why didn't she sing it in English? She was protesting the ICE raids that are going on in Latino communities. And if you haven't seen the videos, families are being broken up and people are being unlawfully deported without due process. Trump actually sent the National Guard and the Marines to LA, not to de-escalate the situation, but to strike fear in the hearts of people. That's what he does best. And that wasn't the only thing that happened. One of the state's U.S. senators, Democrat Alex Padilla, was forcibly removed from a news conference after asking Kristi Noem a question. And he was handcuffed. That's right. A U.S. senator was handcuffed for simply asking a question. Now, as long as I've been alive, I've never known that to happen. If that's not crossing a line, you tell me what is. There was no reason to do that. But let's get back to Nezza. Now the reactions were split down the middle. Some clapped and cheered for her, while others just stood still with their mouths dropped open like fools. Some people posted their reactions on social media, of course, and here are some of the comments. These people are evil, meaning Latino people. And another wrote, they should have cut off her mic and apologized to their audience. This kind of inaction might push away a lot of Dodger fans. And another said, has her legal status been checked? Deport her. But Nezza also received a round of support on social media. One person wrote, her courage is palpable. So proud of her. Another wrote, I'm obsessed with her. That was beautiful. And guess what? The Dodgers won. Now, although Nezza joked, safe to say I'm never allowed in that stadium ever again, the Dodgers haven't banned her. And some sources say they don't plan to. Her performance was very moving, and players, both current and former, responded. Adrian Gonzalez is a former first baseman who is now a broadcaster. He called the raids unconstitutional and wrote, separating families without cause and profiling individuals due to the color of their skin is not right. It needs to stop. Well, if there's anybody who understands that, it's Black people. During slavery, families were separated all the time. Children were sold away from their mothers. Husbands and wives were separated. Yeah, that's something we know very well. I agree with him. The ICE raids are definitely unconstitutional. No one has the right to deport anyone from this country without due process. And the rhetoric is not based on protecting America. It's upholding the values of white supremacy. Plain and simple. Now let's get ready for our next stop. My state, North Carolina, USA. Singer R. Kelly is singing the blues. He's been hospitalized and says someone is trying to kill him. Let's get into it. Robert Kelly was convicted in 2021 on charges of racketeering and sex trafficking. He is now serving time at the Federal Correctional Institute in Butner, North Carolina. Well, last Friday, he was taken to Duke University Hospital in Durham, North Carolina. And why did he go? According to court documents, he was given an overdose of medication by prison officials. According to the court filings, Mr. Kelly's life is in danger, and that danger is coming from the Bureau of Prisons officials and their actions. Mr. Kelly needs this court's intervention. His life actually depends on it. Now, the drama started on June 11th when Kelly's team filed a motion accusing the Bureau of Prisons of soliciting another inmate, Michael Glenn Stein, to kill R. Kelly while he was in custody at a federal prison in Tucson, Arizona in the spring. BOP officials offered Stein, who is allegedly a member of the Aryan Brotherhood gang and who has terminal cancer, an opportunity to live out the last of those months as a free man if he killed R. Kelly. Allegedly, Stein himself told Kelly the truth and that his life was absolutely in danger. Now, do I believe this? I'm leaning towards yes, because the Aryan Brotherhood absolutely hates anyone who is not white. I've also worked in the prison system, and I know if you're an inmate that is not well liked, you can be a target. I'm not a fan of R. Kelly, but yeah, I'm willing to throw him an olive branch and say somebody is trying to kill him, because why not? His lawyer is Bo Brinley, and he has a lot to say. According to Brinley, the day after the incident with the medication overdose, Kelly was moved to solitary confinement and was denied the opportunity to speak with him. He also said he's trying to get a presidential pardon from Trump. I don't know if that's going to happen. If he has money, yeah. Because let me tell you something. Back when George W. Bush was president, Kanye West was still in his right mind and made a statement. George Bush doesn't care about black people. Well, let me tell you who else doesn't care about black people. That is Donald J. Trump. And trust and believe, just like Satan himself, if he's going to do something for you, there's gonna be something in it for him. So if R. Kelly has no money, R. Kelly will be staying put, just like Kizzy and Roots. Now, the BOP issued a statement and said that for privacy, safety, and security reasons, we do not discuss the conditions of confinement for any incarcerated individual, including medical and health-related issues. Additionally, the Bureau of Prisons does not comment on pending litigation or matters that are the subject of legal proceedings. Now, that I can tell you is true. If something happens in prison, they let their lawyers deal with that. Well, the only ones who really know what's going on behind closed doors are Robert Sylvester Kelly and BOP. We'll just have to wait and see how this plays out. Well, folks, I'm ready to talk about another celebrity on our next stop, social media. Her name is Beyonce. And she won the Best Country Album. But guess what? According to the Grammys, that award no longer exists. I don't know anybody who hasn't heard of Beyonce. She's been around for quite a long time. And according to Forbes, her net worth is $760 million. But in the good old US of A, and according to the bigots in this country, that means nothing. The Recording Academy set tongues a-wagging. Since 1995, the Grammys have always had a category for the Best Country Album. Well, starting in 2026, this award will become two separate ones: Best Contemporary Country Album and Best Traditional Country Album. Look at the nonsense. Back in February, Beyonce's Cowboy Carter took home the Best Country Album Award. Now that was a shock, especially to the bigots in the industry, because she was the first Black artist to claim the award. Now, I knew there was going to be some backlash after she won. I just didn't know what. But I knew the bigots in this country were mad as hell, and they were not going to let that stand. And here we are. They did away with the whole category and split it into two. That has never been done prior to her winning. Why are they doing it? Beyonce is Black. It doesn't matter how talented she is or how much money she's made. She's Black. And she infiltrated country music and took home its top prize. Now, people who accuse the Recording Academy of being racist have every right to. Cowboy Carter also won Album of the Year, and that was also the first album by a Black woman to win the award in 26 years. I promised I would tell you what was going on in America, and I am. Racism. And that, dear listeners, is just that. Well, she has the award and she still has plenty of money. She did what she set out to do, and nobody can take that away from her. Now, social media is going to be our last stop, but I have one more story to bring you. And it's the tragic story of a very special person, Ananda Lewis. Now, back in the day, if you watched MTV, you knew that Ananda was a DJ. If you watched BET, you saw her every weekend on Teen Summit. Ananda Lewis was that girl, and what I mean when I say that is she was the girl every girl wishes they were. Ananda recently died of stage 4 breast cancer. On the same day her 14-year-old son Langston was going to graduate middle school. According to her sister, Lakshmi Emery, her wish was to live to his graduation day, and she did exactly that. We lost Ananda on June 11th. She was 52 years old. The father of her son is Will Smith's brother, Harry Smith. According to media, he had a choice to go to his graduation or stay home, but he chose to go to graduation. Emery broke the news of Ananda's death. She wrote, "She's free and in his heavenly arms. Lord rest her soul. She was my stubborn little sister who shone brightly, loved fiercely, and was my number one cheerleader. Hard-headed and tender-hearted, smart as a whip, we finished each other's sentences. I had her back, and she had mine. There are no words to express the depth of the devastation I feel. My life will never be the same without her. Rest now." And if you're close to your sister, you know exactly what she means. In 2020, Ananda posted on Instagram that she had been diagnosed with stage 3 breast cancer. She revealed she had been diagnosed almost 2 years earlier and insisted she had no intention of leaving her son, friends, and other family members. She said, "I have a 9-year-old son I need to be here for. I have no intention on leaving him. I don't want to leave my friends, my family. Hell, I don't want to leave myself. I like being here." Ananda was a beautiful person, inside and out. To me, she looked like a black Barbie doll. And growing up, she inspired every little black girl to be who they wanted to be. In 2024, she announced the breast cancer had progressed to stage 4. She was very transparent about her journey. She said her doctor suggested a double mastectomy and she didn't want to do it. In her own words, she said at the time, "I don't want to spend one more minute than I have to suffering unnecessarily. That, for me, is not the quality of life I'm interested in. When it's time for me to go, I want to be able to look back on my life and say, I did that exactly how I wanted to." She also shared her stance on mammograms. She said, "I have refused mammograms and that was a mistake. I watched my mom get mammograms for 30 years almost, and at the end of that, she had breast cancer." She later said she regretted taking a more holistic approach and embracing natural remedies. She said, "I need you to share this with the women in your life who may be as stubborn as I was about mammograms. And I need you to tell them that they have to do it. Early detection, especially for breast cancer, changes your outcome. It can save their life." Now, according to the National Breast Cancer Foundation, women who receive regular breast cancer screenings have a 26% lower death rate than those who don't. This hits home for me because I just had a mammogram 2 months ago. And after I was finished, I said, you know what? My doctor says I should have one every year, and I don't think so. Well, some very nice and respectful ladies jumped in my comments on Threads and shared their stories with me and urged me to have one every year. And after they were done speaking with me, I said, okay, I'm going to do it. And that's the key with social media, being respectful. As long as you are respectful of other people, they're open to listening to what you have to say. But when you come in sounding condescending and negative, they're going to shut you down every time. In 2024, Ananda also shared why she decided not to have a double mastectomy. She said they wanted to take both breasts. They wanted to do all of these big things that I was not ready for. And as a woman, I can understand that. We live with these things for as long as we live with them. And the thought of somebody chopping them off, yeah, that's traumatic. So I totally get where she's coming from. Now, God forbid I'm ever faced in this situation, but if I have to have one, then I'm going to have a mastectomy. The take-home point is Ananda regretted her decision. She said, looking back on that, I go, you know what? Maybe I should have had a double mastectomy. My lymph system really flared up. It was the first time I ever had a conversation with death because I felt like this is how it is. Black women who are listening to me, we are 40% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women. What can help? Regular screenings. On February 10th, Ananda posted her last Instagram post, and she said, prevention is the cure. If you're in a healthy body, you're holding a winning lotto ticket. Please learn how to avoid cancer because you still can. Traditional medicine isn't magic, but it's the best we have to fighting this terrible disease. A beacon of light at the end of the story is women are listening. Someone posted on Instagram, I am 48 years old and I've never had a mammogram. And I want her family to see and know that because of her, I just signed into my health plan for the first time and looked up a doctor and made an appointment to get my first screening. Thank you for making this. I know you're gone from this earth, but I know your spirit hears this. Thank you for the warning, and I heard you. I think women around the world heard Ananda Lewis's call, especially Black women. What a beautiful soul. May she rest in peace. And before our misogyny train stops, one more thing to share with you. Janias is my third series, and the ebook is at Barnes & Noble right now. Janias 1 will debut on August 1st, but until then, you can check out my other series, Platerius 1, 2, and 3, and Codarius 1 and 2. They're still getting good reviews, and you know I love to see them. You can pick those up at Barnes & Noble, Amazon, Walmart, or wherever books are sold in your country. Also, you can go to www.dohannah.com. And if you live in the following countries, Austria, Australia, Canada, Luxembourg, or South Korea, I've posted some bookshops where you can find my books. Well, listeners, I promised I would share with you what's going on in the U.S., and I have. I'd love to sit and bring you more stories, but I'm out of time. If you enjoyed today's episode or learned anything from it, feel free to follow me on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Samsung, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, and more. People, I want you to take care of yourselves and each other. In these days and times, it's definitely needed. I will be back with more stories. So be good to yourself.